I would like to invite Vincent and Joël on stage as well. We now have time for some questions. I think
can everybody... We have everybody put on the phone. We have a bunch of questions already. People come up. What questions? What urgent questions do you need to bluff your way through blockchain? So let's see if we have already... Do we have a couple of them? I think there's a couple of them, Douwe.
Prepared?
Yeah?
Are there some prepared?
What questions do we have left here? So let's see. And I will also... There's a couple of experts in the audience, so some of them, you know... So why did Ether crash yesterday? So...
Can you get the code again?
Pardon me? Yes, can I have the code? Can I have the code?
Big 17.
Big 17. BIC 17. Join.squiffer.com. Yeah, we have that. We need to have that code all the time on top of the screen because people came in yesterday. Okay, so that's basically what we need to do. So why did Ether crash yesterday? The Ethereum blockchain, Ether. Well, there was one thing. Another question was every time when an initial coin offering is done, there's huge amount of activity on the Ether. Everybody wants to buy these coins. In a couple of hours, they're gone. And Richard Castellan, you're talking about initial coin offering. What happened? What happened yesterday? You know, this 250 million euro was.
Well, yes. Status IM released their ICO yesterday. Sorry, Status IM released their ICO yesterday, and it broke Ethereum. It's not the first one to break Ethereum. The last one was Bancor. It's just the sheer amount. With Bancor, I think about 12,000 people got through to invest, with one person investing 37 million of their own money. So it's complicated, but we use something called gas in Ethereum to pay for the transactions. And some of these guys were spending some of these people were spending massive amounts of money in gas to ensure their transactions got through. But what happened is the whole system basically got clogged up, and this is one of the problems we're going to have to solve with Ethereum as we do more and more ICOs.
And why did the Ethereum went down? Then the Ether coin went. You know, that's the thing we use for
I also lost quite a bit of money in Ethereum pricing yesterday.
Yeah.
Because when there's a lack of confidence in the system, it affects the price of Ethereum. So.
Okay. Yeah. So growing pains. Growing pains. I mean, if you raise 250 million in a couple of hours, and the funny thing is also, for everybody who was able to buy this new coin, this new status coin, there were a whole bunch of people which weren't able to buy, and then the whole system gets clogged up, and we need to improve it. That's also technology which needs to be better. Let's see what we have. Are we in a tulip bubble? That's interesting.
I think we're always in a bubble because bubble will always be there. You need to step in early and get out as late as possible. But Bitcoin doesn't change that. So it's something we people have, trust or not trust. That's the basic of a bubble. So we had Web 1.0, there was a Web 2.0, and that's learning. So yes, there will be a bubble.
Well, I think actually, moment, if we have 30 times more value, the Ether became 30 times more valuable in 3 months. Is that bubbly? That is completely insane and nuts. I mean, that is just ridiculous. I mean, every day, you know, it went up 10%, 5%, 10%. It was just completely ridiculous. I'm talking to Mark van der Gijs in the conference, and he's an investor, and he has a fund which only invests in Ethers and Bitcoin. He started at buying at 100, and now he doesn't want to stop until he sells 500,000. But in principle, the value of the Ether or the Bitcoin is determined by supply and demand. Well, with Bitcoin, there's only a little bit coming by every day, and the amount of money pouring in, if more money pours in, and there's only a limited amount of Bitcoins, the price goes up. And that's what happened. People in Japan, people in Korea, everybody, the Chinese government, they got less restrictive on the stuff. And that's why the money poured in, and that's why the price went up. But as a speculative tool, it's not really interesting. With tulip bulbs, we can only do tulips. But with the blockchain, we can basically organize the total amount of bureaucracy, which is at least 10% or 15% cost. We can basically make that 10 times cheaper. So we can do real things. So in that way, it's more comparable to the dot-com crisis. The dot-com in 2000, the shares were crazy. They were not companies which didn't do anything practical, and the price went through the roof. Okay, that bubble blew, but then afterwards the internet became extremely important.
Yeah. I think I just got a sign. We need to.
One last question. You had one last question which you wanted to ask, and that was about security.
Interesting one about privacy. Basically, in blockchain technology, you have several layers of privacy. Sometimes basically it's pseudonymous or anonymous, so you don't know who's behind an address. So that's already a certain level of privacy. Although you could at some point with big data figure out who's who. But actually blockchain allows us to increase the level of privacy, because nowadays we share a lot of information when we interact. For example, if I go to the Albert Heijn, and it still sometimes happens, you have to show your idea if you want to buy alcohol. And basically they can read everything that's on that idea, but they don't need all the information. The only thing they need to know, are you over 18? And basically it's not there yet. But with blockchain, you could make applications where you basically could create a system where you only need to send to the blockchain, hey, is this person older than 18? Yes, and they don't need to know whether I'm 30 or 40.
It's already developed in Irma, in Radboud,
yeah.
so that passed for.
Yeah, so actually it enables us to create even a more privacy secure world. So I think that's it for now. If you have more questions, we will be around today, so you can always ask your questions during the break.
Okay, everybody who will be away from home. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. He wants to make sure that we have to stop, and we're going to stop. So if you basically are interested, I mean, Simone wrote a great book, about the blockchain in very simple terms. My nephew, we were having him on the phone yesterday, and he says, that was a great book, I read it. It's really made everything clear. So I would really recommend you buying this. So give her a big hand, and thank you very much, Simone, for doing this.
Thank you.